Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's session. So today we're going to be looking at a brand new topic, which is still under the master data. Um, 1 second. Still under the technical object master data. So we did functional location, we did equipment, and we're going to bill of material. So all these are technical objects, and we are in the course of these lectures or these topics, we looked at how to create their master data and organize them hierarchically. So this is going to be the last master data we'll be looking at before we go to breakdown maintenance, and then we'll continue. Before I move on, I would like to just do a highlight on what we did last time, high level highlight. So we treated equipment, and we say an equipment is the object that is installed in the functional location. And it is up to the organization or the business to decide what they call an equipment. They may decide motors, pumps, vehicles to be called equipment. Why do we create equipment? Just to maintain specific data for the objects so that we're able to know what kind of maintenance activities carried out on those equipment. So equipment master data, we mentioned that it contains these views, the general view, which inside it we have other data that you can collect. We have also the location view, organization, structure, and so on. So we also mentioned that you can install equipment at a functional location, and you can also dismantle equipment at a functional location. Okay. So basically, this is your equipment, and it is a piece of object that is installed in a functional location. A functional location itself is just a space. It's just a location that has an activity that is being carried out there. It could be production, it could be transportation, it could be power generation. So that activity is what is happening at the functional location. Meanwhile, that activity is made possible because of the equipment installed there. Some other functional locations, you don't have equipment installed there, but yet there is something going on there, which you name that functional location against the activities carried out there. So we also say that for you to install equipment at a functional location, you must allow equipment installation in the master data of the functional location. Okay, so in the functional location, there is a button you will tick that will allow equipment installation, which is a prerequisite. You must do that. Then again, you can also allow in the equipment category, you must allow installation. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. I know you're already aware, you already know this. So if I open any of this functional location and you go to the structure view, this indicator must be ticked. If this is not ticked, you're not able to install equipment at this functional location. So usage list is simply a list that shows you the installation and dismantling activity at the functional location. When was the last installation? When was the last dismantling? Then which other equipment was installed there? So system will gather that information and form what is called a usage list. Then we did some exercises and then we wrapped that course. So pretty much that's what we did on this equipment. So at the end of the day, we ended up installing an equipment at the functional location, and we used the functional location structure display to view the installation. So IH01 is functional location structure display, and we use the highest level in that plant, and we say we must tick this button. You can tick all before you will see the equipment installed. So any functional location that has an equipment installed, if you continue to explore this functional location, you will see an equipment installed there. So let's see what's happening. I thought I installed something here. There's nothing installed there. And then our generator too, I know we installed something, but now I can't see it. Crane, okay, only the crane I can see. So if you did it properly, of course, okay, maybe we did only for crane and water maker, yeah. We didn't do for generator and forklift. So you can see this is the equipment. So we are going further. You know, what we're doing today is we are going to continue with this structure further so that we are able to build the list of spare parts, you know, dedicated to each of these equipments. Because for this crane, you definitely have spare parts, you know, that are linked to it. So if there's a problem on this crane, it must be one of the spare parts that will be bad that you will need to replace. So you are going to structure the bill of material and attach it to this. So as we go on, we start carrying out our maintenance processes in future. You understand the need for this structuring. So today we are going to focus more on that bill of material, and let me try to open um, it. So what we're going to do today is continuation of the structure we have already built, and you will see how important it is to do that. So bill of material is also a technical object, which is the topic we're going to be looking at today. Is also a technical object. So a bill of material in plant maintenance, it differs from other bill of material. In short, so you call it BOM, bill of material. So it is different in that it only contains items relevant to plant maintenance. So the maintenance bill of material has three important functions for structuring of the objects. Okay, the structure of an object should be displayed as clearly as possible from maintenance viewpoint. So why they are emphasizing maintenance viewpoint is any spare part of a particular equipment that is not um, that that you don't have plans to replace in future, there's no need capturing it on a bill of material. So a bill of material is only spare parts that would be replaced in future. So there are certain equipments that some of the parts of that equipment throughout the lifespan of that equipment, they don't get they are not replaced. So for such kind of parts, you don't even capture them on a bill of material. So specifically, you are capturing only things or only spare parts that you know there's a likelihood of replacing later when there's a problem on them. So those spare parts that are likely to be replaced are what we call, that is what makes up the maintenance bill of material. So another function is spare part planning in the work order. So if you create your bill of material, you structure it on the equipment properly. During work order creation and work order preparation, system will take you straight to the bill of material and you will pick the spare part. So uh, most maintenance guys have issue looking for the right spare part to replace. For example, if a generator which you have installed in a functional location, maybe the alternator is bad. Physically, you are seeing that the alternator is bad, or maybe the filter, a particular filter, is clogged and you need to replace it. That filter has a model number. That filter has some specification. So if you bring another filter, it will not work. It might not size that particular part of the equipment. So you need to get the right filter. So on the equipment, the bill of material for that generator, the right filter will be attached. So anytime you need, when you go to the bill of material, you can now pick the right filter instead of searching globally in the system looking for filters, which there will be likelihood of you picking the wrong one. And imagine that you as a maintenance person, you are in a different entity. Then the material and procurement people are in a different entity. It is what you request that they will give you. So if you pick a wrong filter or maybe size, a different size, right? And then you order in your work order and the warehouse guys issue it to you. Maybe it will take like 1 week for it to reach your location. And when you reach your location, only for you to discover that it does not is not fit for purpose. You don't have to send it back and reorder a new one. So all those delays are are eliminated if you have properly structured your bill of material such that the right filter, right specification is the one listed against the material on the structure. So during work order preparation, you can, select the right material and order it. So spare part planning and task list. So as we go on, we'll explain what is a task list more, but you can also arrange your spare parts in your task list for future maintenance tasks. So spare parts can be planned in a task list based on the bill of material. So generally we have the following type of bill of material. We have material BOM, we have equipment BOM, and we have functional location BOM. So material BOM is basically just a kind of list of materials that are for a dedicated assembly, for example. So, for example, if I look at a vehicle has an engine assembly, a vehicle has a transmission assembly, it has the cooling assembly. So all the spare parts that make up each of these assembly, you can group them together, and that will be called material BOM. Equipment BOM, all the spare parts that make up that equipment, the entire equipment, are grouped together as equipment BOM. Then functional location, all spare parts that make up a particular functional location. So somebody will be wondering, why do we also need to have spare part for functional location when it is just a location? Yes, because I gave you one example that some objects may not be classified as equipment, but they're actually objects that have spare parts to be replaced. But because of the business decision, you don't classify, you did not create a dedicated equipment number for that order. Let's take, for example, a tank where you store crude oil, or where you store diesel for a generator. The tank is actually in a particular location, but the business does not consider it as an equipment. But the tank has some components that could get bad and you need to replace. So for such tanks, they are created in the system as a functional location. The tank has a function, but it's not an equipment. And the spare parts that make up that tank are also maintained as a bill of material in the system and assigned to the functional location directly. In this case, not on the equipment. Okay. So material BOM, this is explaining material BOM. Material BOMs are always used in plant maintenance if a number of similar constructed objects have to be maintained. The aim is not to create a bill of material for each technical object, but to create just one bill of material and then assign to technical objects. So this avoids the use of redundant bill of material. So it's just what I explained. The first type of bill of material, which is material BOM, it's grouping similar, similar spare parts. It could be spare parts belonging to two different equipments that are similar, that are manufactured by the same OEM, original equipment manufacturer. Okay, so let's take, for example, a particular generator. So generator 1 and generator 2 are exactly the same. They are all manufactured by a particular manufacturer. All the spare parts are the same. Or you can look at it in the You can look at this example. Let's say Toyota Corolla 2004 model. So if there are three lined out here, all of them, their spare parts are exactly the same. So if you have three of those Corollas in your system as equipment, then you don't need to create different material BOM for all of them. Once you create one, you can assign it to the first Corolla, which is an equipment. You can also assign it to the second one, and the list will be the same. So likewise, any other equipment in your company, if you have a generator or a turbine or two turbines that are similar, one material bill of material will be enough to assign to the two since they are similar. So important functions of this material bill of material is the structuring of the object. So the structure of an object should be displayed as clearly as possible from a maintenance viewpoint. Okay, sorry, I'm repeating that. So a material BOM is a bill of material that is first created for a material independently of a technical object. To do this, you create a material first, then you create a material BOM for the material, then the bill of material then is assigned to the technical object. This is the process in the location called construction type field. So let me show you what is construction type. If I would go through this path, and I will display this equipment. This is the equipment called crane. So if I double click on the equipment number, which is where we are going to assign our material BOM, I go to structure, there is a field called construction type. This is where you assign the material BOM. So when you assign the material BOM here, all the spare parts that are linked to that material BOM will automatically be displayed under this equipment. You will see another step to go further. So here you will first of all create that material, a dedicated material number using a particular material type. For NOSA that understands when you are creating a material, you must select a material type. So there's a dedicated material type for the material that you will create so that you can assign as a construction type in your equipment. So when you enter the material number here, then it's going to show in the structure. After creating that material with that material type, you are going to create a material BOM for the material. So meaning you're going to create another number again and assign it first to the first material you have created. Then when you do that, you will now create what? The bill of material, and then you assign to the construction type field, which is this field I have shown you. We are going to do all of that step by step, and you understand better. So this is just what we are talking about. So this is your what? This is your the structure. At this level is a functional location, and the title of this location is filter building. So under this filter building, we have an equipment installed. Electric pump is installed under this filter building. So this P-1000 is the material BOM. This is the material BOM we are talking about. So if I open this TEQ-01 equipment, electrical pump, I'm going to open it now. So who can remind us the transaction code to display or change an equipment when we know the equipment number? Who can remind us? You can quickly go through this and you will see it. I naturally don't encourage cramming of this, but know how to go and get it. So if we're talking about change or display an equipment where you have the equipment number, this is the transaction code, IE02, IE03 for display, IE02 for change. So if I double click on this, I just need to enter this equipment number. The green one is equipment number. The light blue is the functional location. The orange is the construction type. This is the material BOM itself, which is entered as a construction type. And then the red are the real spare parts, the main spare parts. So I'm going to open this TEQ-01 equipment. So this is the equipment, electric pump 001. So if I go to construction type, I will see that the material bomb P-1000 is assigned here, and this automatically becomes the construction type. So this construction type is a material that was created, meaning that if I copy it and I come to material MM003 and I enter that material, you can see, no sir, I know you understand this. Material P-, so this P-1000 was created as a material before it was now used as a construction type in that field. So meaning that you are going to also create it as create one material as a construction type, and then you update it. So if I open this, you see it's going to open like as a material, right? So this is what your material, it has all the attributes of a material, okay? But in maintenance, this particular material is created as a PM assembly. I will explain that. And it is utilized here as what? A construction type. Okay. So that's that. And this is the structure we're targeting. So the yellow here represents assemblies. So let me explain what is let me explain this structure. First, we have functional location. You know, it is a location or a space. Then we have equipment, which is the green, which is the object. Then you have the construction type, CT, construction type, which is uh, like a dummy number, a dummy material number that groups spare parts together. You can see all these spare parts, the red one, are under this P-01. So you need to create it and assign all spare parts that are for this P pump GG ethanol. So for this pump GG ethanol, we have casing, pressure cover, rubber seal, support base. All these spare parts are part of this construction type. So if we have another electric pump 002, we just need to assign this same construction type to 002 because they will have the same similar spare parts. So I don't need to create a brand new construction type. But because I've already created and I've assigned all the spare parts that are for this electric pump, if I have a second one, I will just need to duplicate this and make it the construction type number for the second equipment. Okay. So I was explaining this. Great. So the next thing is assembly, PM assembly, PM assembly. So this PM assembly, basically what it does, it divides or it groups the entire equipment, the objects or equipment into different functional units. So I gave you an example for a vehicle. And I said that if you look at a complete vehicle, we have engine, right? We have cooling, we have transmission, then maybe we have the body. So the entire equipment, which is the vehicle, is subdivided into different assemblies. And each of these assemblies have their spare parts. So for the engine, you are going to have things like rings. You are going to have seals. You are going to have just give me any example if you remember. Shaft and so on, etc.
Oil,
Then for
oil field.
okay, oil what?
Oil filter.
Filters and so on.
Filter, yeah.
So for the cooling, you will have fan, you have belts, you have maybe alternator. Am I right? Then you have um whatever that makes up the cooling
Radiator.
assembly. Radiator, good.
Okay.
Radiator.
Radiator, yeah.
Uh-huh. So
So,
and then maybe the water tank. I don't know, water tank
reservoir.
or
Water
reservoir.
reservoir. Mm.
Mhm. Water reservoir. Then for the transmission, you have um the gearbox, right? You have the please you can help if you remember the parts of
Gear,
this transmission.
gear stick.
Gear stick, gear stick, etc. Then for the
Mm.
body, maybe you have the door handle, you have the lights. Let me let someone in. You have the lights, you have the windscreen.
Mhm.
So first, this first set of this first set of names I've listed here, engine, cooling, transmission, is what we call the assembly, the assemblies. So in each of these assembly, we have spare parts that are assigned to it. Do you understand? Each of these assembly have their spare parts. So you are going to create the assemblies, each of these assemblies, and then you will link the spare parts to the assembly. So the way you organize this thing is first, you are going to have your functional location. Then you have your equipment, you have your construction type, you have the assemblies, and then you have what? The spare parts, the spares. This is list of materials. List of materials. So this is exactly how you are going to organize your structure. Now, this will vary depending on the equipment you are dealing with. In this case, it's a vehicle. It could be maybe a Corolla car, it could be maybe a truck, it could be maybe anything. But if you now go to a crane, you will have different assemblies for the crane. Maybe you have the boom assembly, boom assembly. You will have the um what again? Um Maybe the wire rope, crane wire rope assembly. Then you have also the different assemblies, in fact. So the crane will have different assemblies. Then when you go to generator as an equipment, you also have different assemblies. Maybe you have the alternator, you have the motor, you have the exhaust, and so on. So different assemblies for different equipment. And for each of these assemblies, you have the spare parts. Just take, for example, another simple example, like a fan, a ceiling fan. So any ceiling fan you pick, you definitely have the entire assembly of a ceiling fan. You could have something like maybe a motor, uh, the blades, and maybe the rod. How do you call it? Um, let's just call it the rod. I don't know the right name for it. So all you on any ceiling fan, you must have all of these things, and all these things represent different assemblies because all of them put together make up the fan, right? And each of them will have small spare parts that make up these units. Okay, so when you are now creating it in the system, you must definitely uh, structure it properly so that if there's a problem on the motor, you go to the motor assembly and you will pick the right spare part that is bad and you order it. So that's the essence of what we are doing here today. Okay, so let's go to the practical aspect of things. So, good thing we have already created our equipment, our functional location, and our equipment. So the next thing we're going to create is the construction type, and then we'll create our what, PM assembly, then spare parts. So first, let's create our what CT, our construction type together. So let's think of an equipment, and of course I want us to use the equipment we have already created in the system in our system. So I believe we created two equipments, if I'm not mistaken. We created two equipments here, and let's feature out these equipments. We created the crane. Sorry, I need to tick this. I need to tick equipment installed before I can see my equipment. So we created under lifting, we created a crane as an equipment. So we're going to create the construction type for the crane. Then we'll create the assemblies for the crane. Okay, so let's single out this crane. So our equipment is crane. So you can do the same thing at your end. So first of all, let's decide what are the assemblies on a crane. What are the assemblies on the crane?
The the hook, the boom,
Okay, okay,
the the wire rope.
okay. So the boom, crane boom, then the hook,
Yeah,
wire rope, then the jack. Maybe there's something like a jack too on the crane. Am I right? Or
uh,
let's call this the hydraulic assembly, which will be made up of the jack and other stuff. So we have the boom, the hook, then the hydraulic assembly. So there's also a housing where for modern cranes you see where the operator sits. So everything in that housing area will also we'll call it the housing. Okay, or if you have a
okay.
better name, we can also call it. But just for example, let's take this as the major assemblies that make up the crane, and then we'll also try to um, fish out the spare parts for this. So on the boom, what do we have on the boom? What do we have on the crane boom? Help me if you can.
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay, no problem.
So on the, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
On the boom, we have like a lever system.
The what?
A lever.
A lever.
Yeah.
Lever, right?
Yeah.
And I think this hook is supposed to be on the boom too, right?
Yeah, the hook, the sling is at the end of the boom.
Exactly,
The
and we
boom
also
is
have
like,
the sling. We also have a sling.
yeah.
So we have sling. We
You
have
can have shackles at the end of
shackles.
the
Yes,
sling.
you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Shackles. I remember. So shackles. Um. So here we can have the jack, the hydraulic jack, and then the maybe the how do you call it? Maybe the oil, hydraulic oil, right? That is used to lubricate the jack. Just for
Yeah. Some booms also have camera.
okay, so that will come on the boom camera. Okay, then on the housing, we have the door, we have the um this stuff we use to measure the weight, LSI. How do you call it? There is a device we use for measuring the weight or to see the weight that is picked. Or let's just call it weight indicator. We may not get the right name. Then you have also the once again the controls. So we'll just take it like that. So these are the assemblies on your crane. All these are assemblies. But first we need to also create the construction type. So the construction type is something that will group all these assemblies together. And the construction type, we can call it um, maybe let's just call it 15-ton crane, um, 15-ton crane construction type. Okay, so all it's going to be a number that all these assemblies will be under, and the construction type will be assigned to the equipment directly. So how do you create a construction type? You go to it is actually under you can create it as a material, but there is a specific material type that you use. So how do you create a material? MM01. You can follow me. MM01. So here, industry sector, you will select mechanical engineering. The material type is going to be um, maintenance assembly. Okay. So your material type that we're going to use here is maintenance assembly. Then you press enter. So here, select either one of these or all. You can do, but let's just select the first two. Then click on organizational levels. Then it will open. So you are going to call this 15-ton crane construction type. So the unit of measure, enter PC, press enter, and then you save. And in this kind of material, you don't need to enter so much details because it's just a dummy number. And system will create this number 2067 for you. So it means that this your orange number, which we have just created now, is 2067 in our case. So our construction type is 2067. So the next thing we're going to create this boom assembly, hydraulic assembly, and housing assembly. So all this will be created as these yellow numbers. These are assemblies. These yellow numbers. So it's the same way, same material type, same industry sector, but different description. So select this, click on organizational level. Then you can call it the first assembly, which is boom. So your boom assembly, call it boom assembly. Enter your unit of measure, press enter, so you can save. So the first assembly, which is the boom assembly, is 2068. 2068. So the next assembly will be the hydraulic assembly. So we'll create hydraulic assembly as well. Hydraulic assembly, I will enter just a few information here, and then I will save. So 2069 is hydraulic assembly. Then the next assembly is the housing. So for the crane, there is a small unit where the operator sits. So we want to call it the housing. So this is housing assembly, right? So, and I will save. So the number for the housing is 2017. Great. Now, having created these assemblies, we are going to create all this as what? Spare parts. But in real sense, the material guys would have already created these spare parts, and these spare parts will be in the system. So you just need to find them and assign them to your assemblies. But in this case, we don't have them already created. So we're going to go through the stress of creating the lever, the hook, the sling, shackle, and camera for the boom. And we also create hydraulic assembly, the jack and the oil. Then for the housing, we'll create the door, weight indicator, and control. So we're going to start with what? The lever. So here now, because they are real spare parts, which you could create a PO later and procure them and put in the warehouse. You are not going to create them as what? Maintenance assemblies. You are going to create them as spares. So you select the right material type, which is called spare parts. You see? So you press enter. You can see that now you have more information to be created. So what I would recommend, the views I would recommend that you select in creating this material is the basic data 1 and 2, the purchasing data, maybe the MRP, then let's go to the accounting. These views are enough for a standard material. So it means that they can be processed by finance, purchasing guys, that is procurement guys, can also process this material, and you can subject this material under MRP, and you can have some other basic data that is like a general data. So these views are sufficient, except if you need to add more. So adding these views means you're going to provide more information in creating the master data of this spare part. So once you do that, click on organizational data. Then we're going to create this in our plant. So there's a demonstration plant that we have been using, which is plant 1000. So you enter plant 1000 and storage location 001. So this is already the organizational structure that is already existing that we're using. But when we start configuration, we'll create a dedicated plant for our plant Makodi. That Makodi plant is supposed to have a code dedicated to it. But because of we don't want to do any config now, we're using the already existing plant, which is plant 1000. And this plant has been configured properly for training purposes. Okay, so enter plant 1000 and storage location 001. Then click on continue. So here you're going to specify the name of the material, the spare part you are creating. So the spare part is lever. So here we type lever. Then the unit of measure, you will notice that you will have to enter more data here. You press enter, it will take you to the next mandatory field. So material group, click on the drop down and select anyone. So this is a lever. Let's see something close to that. You can select anyone because of its training. So continue to press enter. Any place there is a mandatory field, system will mandate you. So select any purchasing group, press enter, then MRP, select maybe PD or ND. Let's select ND, no planning. Then it will take you to the accounting view. Enter the moving average price for this material. Let's say 1,000. Then system will allow you to save this material. Okay, so it takes you back to another mandatory field, which is planned delivery time. Enter maybe 2 days, and then press enter and save. So the lever is created to be 2071. So our lever here under this is 2071. So we're going to create the hook. Ensure that the material type is spare part. Then select these views again, MRP, and then accounting view. So alternatively, if you don't want to stress yourself much going through this, there's an option for copy from, which is here. So because you have already created this material, if the information on this material are similar, you can do a copy from this material and just edit the ones that are not that are different. So I'll show you how to do it, to create a material as a copy of another. 2071, you are copying from 2071. So all the data of 2071 will be copied. So let's select the views again, as usual. Then organizational data. Plant is always 1,000. And this is 01. Press enter. So you notice that some of these things are already filled. We don't need to fill this again because it copied from the former one. It also copied the description, but we're going to change the description because it's not a lever. It's just because it's copying from the lever. So our description now will be hook. So anything that is specific will change. Okay. So purchasing group was not copied. So we enter our purchasing group. MRP was not copied. We'll enter MRP. Okay, so also the moving average price was not copied. We'll enter our moving average price. Then we'll enter the planned delivery time, let's say 3 days, and then we'll save. So we have created the hook. So the hook is 2073. So it makes creation faster because most of the information are already provided. 2072. So next is the sling. So we'll do the same.
2073, not 72.
Oh, okay. Are you sure it's 73? Because I see the last one was 71. Let me check. If I go to material and I go to change immediate, it will give me the number. Okay. It means it's 73, like you said, because this one is the one about to be created. So this one is already created. So that's 73 hook. Okay, so you're right. So let's go back to create, immediate, spare part. So select the views, MRP, accounting. So that's not to say you can't select all these views, but if you select, you have to provide this information. Okay. So if you press your space bar, what was entered before will display. I press space bar and I see the options I've entered before. I don't need to start typing again. So some of these things are already populated. Only specific information the system will not populate. MRP, ND, the cost of the material, let's say it's 2,000 euro. Then yes, and then delivery time is 2, and then this is also created. So this one is 2075. 20 75. So like I said, in real sense, it is not the job of a maintenance guy to be creating these materials. The material guys would have created all the spare parts, because once the company buys a new equipment, the material list will be attached to the manual or the operating document of that equipment, and it will be handed to the material guy to to create all the spare parts for that material in case anyone fails and they need to procure. They will use that material to procure that very material. So these materials, uh, they must have already been created in the system, and you, the maintenance guy, will just pick them and prepare your bill of material. But because we want to do something new, that's why we have to create all of this. So our sling is 20. Okay, I didn't update this description. Sorry. So it's going to be the same with the hook. So I will go into 2075 and update the description to be the sling. Yeah, sling. It's because it's copying from the lever. Okay, so I'll create the next one. So because of time, I will not create all. So this three is okay for the boom. Then I'll go to the hydraulic assembly, which is this one. So under hydraulic assembly, we have the jack and the oil. So I will also create using MM01 spare part. Maybe I don't want to copy from this guy because it's a different assembly. So I press enter as basic data, purchasing, um, um, okay, so I will select all these views, MRP, then I'll click on organizational levels. So I'll enter the plant code for my plant, the Makurdi plant, 1000, and then the storage location, because it's a material, it must be stored in a particular location, which is 001. So I will enter the name of this spare part I'm creating under the hydraulic assembly, the jack, right? So this is the hydraulic jack. Okay, so the unit of measure is piece, and then the material group. If I have any material group like jack, I will select it. If I don't have, because of demonstration sake, I can pick anything just to complement that. Okay, so I'll just pick anything. But in real sense, you would have created material groups that speak to the materials you have in your organization. Okay, this is also the work of the material management team. So they know that, okay, we have this kind of materials in the system. So they will create different groups. So anytime you want to see monitors and you use this material group, you see all the monitors. If you want to see steel sheets, you will see all the steel sheets. Then if you also have something like the jack or different kinds of jack, you create a material group called jacks, and then you can easily use it to, do a list of all the jack, the different kinds of jack you have in the system. But for now, we don't have that, so I'm selecting at random anything. So I press enter. Um, Purchase group, which represents the guys that will buy anytime they need to replenish this material. It is this guy, this purchase group, that will be the one to buy, because purchase group represent the buyer. Is a code for the buyer. That's why you see their names. Guys will understand this better. So you see these are names of people. For example, if I select purchase group 019, it means it's Packer J. Anytime they need to buy this jack, it's Packer J that will buy it. Automatically, system will send the request to Packer J. So MRP is, I don't want it to be subject to MRP, so I put no planning. So the cost of this material is 4,000 euro, right? So they did plan delivery time, which helps to calculate the delivery date. Anytime a purchase order is raised, I will enter 3 days. So if I raise a purchase order, system will automatically calculate the time or the date they're supposed to deliver this material and send it to the vendor. That's the essence of what these things we're entering. So my material is 2076. So the last material, 2076 on this list is the oil. So maybe there's a lubricating oil for the jack that I need to also create. So I press enter, I select this MRP purchasing, accounting, organizational level. So just pardon me that I have to go through this. In recent, this shouldn't be your task, but it's an opportunity to know how to create a material master data. So I will just select this. So there are many more information that should be entered during material creation, but we don't want to really bother because that's not the aim. Our aim now is just to have a working material in the system that speaks to what we are doing now. So that's it. Delivery days 4, and then I will save. So this material is 277. 277. Okay, so for the hydraulic assembly, we have all the materials. So all the spare parts. So for the housing, we have door, weight indicator, and control. So we're going to create the same thing for the housing, purchasing, MRP, accounting, and then I will enter the plant 1000. So why I'm entering plant again is it's possible that this same material exists in plant 1000 and exists in another plant, maybe plant 2000. So Makodi and maybe Aba, or Makodi and maybe Abuja. So Abuja will have a dedicated plant code also. So if you try to utilize this material that is created for plant 2000, which is Abuja in Makodi, the system will tell you this material is not maintained for the Abuja plant, or for the plant which it is not maintained for. So it will throw as an error. So that's why you use this plant and storage location to group materials of a particular plant. So if anybody tries to use it, because it's the same database, if anybody tries to pick that material at random and use it, the system will complain that no, this material is not for that plant. So there's a process to extend the material to that plant if you must use it. So for now, that's not much of our headache. We're just trying to get these materials ready in the system. So the purchasing group, which is the buyer, the MRP type, sorry, I'll prefer to use ND. Then the moving average price. So this is the first price, the first cost of the material that you are maintaining here, based on maybe what the OEM advice or the records you found somewhere, maybe on the internet or in the catalog, the official company catalog about this material that is procured for this. But so it's moving average price because the price will be changing. So once the price changes in the market, it will automatically change here. So by the time this price go up to 4,000, this will also change to 4,000. Next, if the price come down, it will change also here. So it is a moving average price. It is not fixed. However, if you want to make it a fixed price, whether it's going up or going down, then you need to change the price control to standard price. So this will be fixed. So for guys, they use this to control the price of the material, whether it should be changing or it should be fixed. And it's fixed when you have entered into an agreement with the vendor that whether this material is the price has gone up or has gone down, we want to always buy from you at this price. But again, this is just extra information, it's not our business. So 2078 is created as the door. 2078 is a door. So we'll create one more under this housing, the weight indicator, and then we'll proceed. Please alert me if I'm too fast so that I can. So organizational level, uh, storage location. So weight indicator. So the unit of measure and then the purchase group. I'll just pick anyone at random. MRP ND, no planning. The cost of this weight indicator is maybe 3,000 euro. I'll save and I'll enter the planned delivery date 4 days, and then I'll save finally. So this is 2079. So all my materials are well created. 2079. So these materials currently exist in this system. Okay. So if I decide to display all these materials, you will see that they actually are existing in this system. So remember, this is what our construction type, which is construction type for this crane. And these are the assemblies. And why these are the spare parts under it. So how do you now make this construction type a BOM, which will organize these spare parts, first of all, as assemblies, and then secondly, as a spare part list. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. How are you going to ensure that this becomes a construction type? Then under it, we have assemblies. And then under the assemblies, you see each of these assemblies have an arrow, meaning that if you open this assembly, you see spare parts that make up this assembly. So this is another way of creating it. There are some spare parts that are not part of an assembly. They are on their own. That's why they are littered here without any specific assembly or the yellow number. So this is another way of organizing it. So on this structure too, you will see the numbers, you see their descriptions, you see their item category. Item category will have L or N. L stands for stock items. So all these ones that has L means they can be stored in the warehouse. You have made a conscious decision in your business that this casing, pressure cover, rubber seal, support base should be always stored in the warehouse, meaning that there will be specific MRP setting on them. And this is also material management. MRP means material replenishment plan. So that when you use these materials to a certain reorder point, system will trigger a purchase requisition to replenish the material. So all warehouse materials are subject to MRP. Then you can see this electronic has item category N. N means non-stock. So this material can never be stored in the warehouse. So whenever it is needed, when there's a requirement for this material, it will be ordered and automatically it will generate a purchase requisition for outright purchasing. So that purchase requisition will go to the buyer. That is the purchase group I was entering in the material. So, and he will now activate procurement. So this material is only bought when it is needed. The reason why some materials are not kept in the warehouse is because, one, they are cost. Two, maybe they are perishable. Three, maybe there's no suitable storage for them. So if a material is worth maybe €1,000,000 or 1,000, a million USD, you don't want to store that material in the warehouse and tie the company funds in that material in the warehouse until it is needed. You want to use the company funds to do other things. So anytime we need that material, we can now source funds and buy it and utilize it. That is one reason. Second reason is if a material is perishable, like it can get spoiled easily. And if you store it in the warehouse, maybe weather condition or the condition in the warehouse does not favor it, it can get damaged. If it's an expensive material, the company will lose. So we don't store such. When we need those material, we just activate procurement and they buy it and they take it to site straight and use it. For such materials, you indicate item category N on them as non-stock. Okay. Then the third reason is if the company does not have a suitable storage facility for such a material. For example, gaskets are very delicate. You need to hang them somewhere special. So if the company does not make provision for that hanger, then we don't need to buy gaskets and litter them everywhere in the warehouse. We only buy them when they are needed. Or if they are too big, they cannot fit into the store, then we also not mark them as stock items. We mark them as non-stock and they are bought whenever they are required. So that's it. Then here you have the quantities on the assembly. You look at a ceiling fan, for example, it has one pole or one rod, 3 blades or 4 blades as the case may be, one motor. So that is the quantity on that assembly. 3 blades all the time. So if this is a blade, then it's going to be 3 here. So anytime you are ordering the assembly of a fan, and it is you are ordering that particular assembly, then it has to have 3 blades every time. So you can specify the quantity on the assembly. If it is 1, is 1, 4 is 4, 5, and so on. Then this is the unit of measure for buying. So these are the information you maintain when you are creating your bill of material. So how do you create your bill of material? Let's go into the system and convert this our PM assembly, which is the construction type we created, into a bill of material. So this is it, bill of material. Okay, material bill of material is what we are creating, because this is a material. This construction type is a material. This construction type is a material, and we are going to organize the assemblies under it and the spare parts under the assembly. So this is a material bill of material. So the transaction to create is CS01. Okay, so if you launch CS01, this is how CS01 looks like, and the title is create material bill of material. Okay, so you need to enter the construction type here, which is that our construction type. Our construction type is 2067. 2067, and the plant which we created this material is plant 1000. So if this material does not exist in that plant, meaning we didn't specify that this construction type is for this plant, system will complain. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that when we're creating deliberately, so that we'll see the error. So the usage type, this bill of material, we're going to use it for plant maintenance. So we're going to select usage 4. It's just the drop down, and you see 4 here, which is for plant maintenance. So this is okay. So you press enter. Now you can see this table is opened, right? So inside this table, in the components, column, you are going to list all your assemblies here. And what are your assemblies? These are your assemblies: 20, 68, 69, and 70. So 20, 68, 20, 69, and 20, 70. So you are linking these assemblies under this construction type. Remember, our construction type is 50-ton crane construction type, which is made up of the different assemblies of the crane, the housing, the hydraulic assembly, and the boom assembly. Okay, then this is where we have our item category. This ICT, it stands for item category. Okay, so you define whether it is a stock or non-stock. But because this is not spares, remember, these are not spares. At this level, they are assemblies, and we didn't even create them using material type spare parts. We use material type PM assembly. Let me remind you what we did. Very important. So when we did MM01, we didn't use material type spare in creating these assemblies. The assembly and the construction type, we use material type called maintenance assembly. They are not really spare parts. They are dummy numbers that hold the spare parts. So let's go back there. So great. So we can't say they are stock or non-stock because they are not spare parts. So there's a special item category that will assign to these ones. And the item category is what? PM structure element. So item category I. So we select PM structure element for all the assemblies to make them assemblies. So here we'll just put 1 for all of them, and then you see there are 1 assemblies. So we enter. So once you enter, you see their names will display here: boom assembly, hydraulic assembly, and housing assembly. And you are creating them under this construction type. So I will try to save. So now I have saved. So it means that this BOM 2067 is created. So automatically this becomes a construction type. Automatically this 2067 becomes a construction type. So if I copy this construction type and I take it to the master data of IH01, I will look for my crane. Let's look for the crane because everything we're doing here is for the crane. So if I go to my crane and I double click on the crane equipment, it will show me the master data of the crane, right? And I go to structure, I will see construction type. So I'm free to paste that construction type here now because now it has become a construction type. But this is a display mode, and it is display because I just double click on the number from here. I didn't use the right transaction code, which is IE02, right? Because first I wanted to search for it where it is, and then I double click. So system will by default display this master data in a display mode, which you cannot make a change. But good thing, SAP provide you a button here which toggles between display and change, right? So if I click on this, it will open this for edit, right? So you can see the construction type field now is open. Haven't clicked on this pen and goggle. It is display change, meaning you can move it from display to change. So if I click, it will open. Then I can go to structure and impute my construction type. Sorry, the construction type is 2067. So 2067, and it is called 15-ton crane construction type. I can even search it here directly with the keyword 15-ton asterisk. I will find it and I will double click and it will enter. So once I enter and I save it, automatically this is going to, I don't need to do the same for each of these assemblies again because the assemblies are already embedded in the construction type. So by assigning the construction type, I've already assigned the assemblies. All right. So I'm going to go back. Remember, I didn't tick BOM. That's why I can't see beyond this level. Even if I exploit this further, I won't see beyond this construction type. You can see the construction type is now assigned. All right. So by the time I create the spare parts and I tick BOM, then I can see the construction type and I can also see the assembly. So if I go further now, you will see that there is a stage beyond this construction type now, which is the 3 assemblies. Can you see the 3 assemblies? So these assemblies are the 15-ton crane. They are under the 15-ton crane construction type, but these assemblies, they don't have spare parts yet because they end here until I assign this spare part to each of these assemblies. So I'm going back to my create bill of material, which is transaction code CS01. Remember, I went through this. Then I went to bill of material. Then I went to material bill of material, and I got my CS01 for create. If I want to make a change, CS02. If I want to display CS03, so I just want to create. So this time around, I'm not creating the construction type, but I'm creating the assemblies, right? So that I can embed the spare part inside the assembly. So I'll pick each of the assemblies one by one. The first one is 2068. So 2068, which stands for um, which of these assemblies, which stands for the boom assembly, right? Then I'll enter the plant. The usage is plant maintenance. Then I'll press enter. So I'm now adding spare part inside the boom assembly. So what are the spare parts that are for this boom? I have 2071, 73, and 75. So 2071, 2073, 2075. Now I will decide which of them is um, stock and non-stock, because here these are pure spare parts. Remember their names. Let's go back to their names. They are spare parts. This is the lever, the hook, the sling, the shackle, and the camera. So these are things we can store in the warehouse. If they spoil, we'll go to the warehouse and bring it and utilize it. So these are pure spare parts. So we can decide to say, okay, the camera, okay, we didn't create the camera. We only created the lever, hook, and sling. So which of them? Okay, we'll just make the last one a non-stock, the first two stock. So stock is L. Stock item is L. So the first two we have item category L, while the last one will make it a non-stock N. So we are going to now say, okay, for this one, how many of it do we have on the assembly? So we have two. This one will have three, and this one will have one on the assembly. So you press enter, and you see their names will show here, and um, everything is perfect, so we can save. So we have created this assembly and we have added the spare part into it. The next thing is we are going to create the second assembly and add the spare parts to it, which is 2069. 2069. So we'll populate this information like this, press enter, and we'll add the spare parts into this assembly. So we have the spare parts are 2076 and 77. So 2076, 2077. Okay, and we'll say the quantities are one. I'll press enter. Their names will come. This is the jack and this is the lubricating oil, right? So then we can save this as well. That's saved. So the next one is we'll create this 2070 and add these materials inside. So 2070 assembly, we'll press enter, and the materials inside are 2078 and 2079. 2078 and 2079. So I pressed enter. Okay, I'll add the quantity. Sorry, I didn't add the quantity. That's why system is bringing me to this. I just needed to add the quantity here, else it will take me to that route and I'll provide the quantity. So all this we say they are stock items, and then we'll save. So now everything is ready because first we created the construction type and we added all these assemblies inside the construction type. And now in each of these assemblies, we have added their respective material. Because their assemblies are already linked to the construction type, it means automatically system will arrange this inside the assembly. So let's go to display the structure again. IH01. Then we need to tick equipment installed before we can see the green number. We need to tick, this is not mandatory because we don't have any equipment hierarchy, because there are some equipments that could be under another equipment, but in this case, they are flat. There's no equipment hierarchy. If there is a construction type, which we have, we need to tick this. And if there's a bomb list, we need to tick this. So if we execute now, and we go to our crane, lift, crane. So first, you will see our equipment, which is a crane. So under this crane, we have subdivision of this crane. We have a dummy number that holds the subdivision of this crane. And those the dummy number. So this means that if we have a second crane, a second similar crane, we just need to assign this to the construction type field of that second crane. And it will move all these things to that one. We don't need to create a whole thing all over again. So this is a dummy number that holds the assemblies of that crane, which are these assemblies. And each of the assembly, like if you go to the boom assembly, these are the spare parts that make up the boom assembly. You see, the lever, hook, and sling. And the first two are stock items, while the last one is a non-stock. The sling, the lever is 2, the hook is 3, and the sling is 1. Then the hydraulic assembly, these are the spare parts that make up the hydraulic, the jack and the lubricating oil. They are all stock items and they are 1 on the assembly. Then if you go to the housing, you will see the door, you will see the weight indicator, and then they are all stock, then they are 1. So this, for the purpose of this training, we just did a small list of, but the list could be very long and it has to be exhaustive so you can contain all the spare parts that make up each of these assemblies. So if there is a problem with the boom, I know that it must be one of these guys that is bad. So having selected it carefully and built the BOM, the bill of material, I cannot make a mistake. No one will make a mistake picking the wrong lever because there could be levers of different sizes in the system globally. But for this crane, since the lever is organized under it, you know that this is the correct one and this is the number of the lever. So if you want to raise a PO, this is the number, the material number you use for the lever. If it's the hook, this is the material number. If it's a sling, this is the material. So the chances of making a mistake is very slim. But if you go into the system and search globally using, let's do a transaction code to check material list, MM60. And okay, no, this is not good enough. Let me just do MM01. So MM02, and I will just click here. I will find the material description. So if I say star sling, star, or even if I say sling, star, there are chances that I will see different slings in the system. You can see these are materials that have sling as a keyword. This is that our sling. This is another sling. So you may make a mistake and choose this one and order it. When it comes, you'll find out that it doesn't fit. But if you pick it on the BOM, there's zero chance of you getting it wrong, except during the structuring, you assigned a wrong one. And this is a task that is done by professionals. So you must understand how to build this and the right spare parts to assign to this for user consumption, because users don't care how this comes. They just want to come here and see to see the right spare parts. If they're looking for the hook for the crane, they just want to come here and see the hook for the crane. So if they don't see the hook for the crane, they now start raising alarm that some things are missing on the structure. We don't find the right material on the structure. So it is the responsibility of the PM specialist, the SAP PM specialist, to ensure that this is structured properly with the right this thing. Only this structuring can earn you a job in a company, because there is a unit called MEC that most companies have, you know. I can't remember the meaning of that MEC, but it is all about, structuring the assets of the organization. Just this, knowing how to do just this, can earn you a position in a company, because it's a whole lot. Okay, and this is just a very small area in SAP. So knowing how to build this structure down to the bill of material and getting it right. You can also even have a contract somewhere in an organization to do this for them. So they will give you all the documentations and you have to get this done for them. So they just want to come into the structure and see that this is correct as per what we have on the documents. So it is very important to know this part. Okay, so you will notice that here in this example, we have materials that are floating here. They don't belong to any assembly, right? The yellow one are the assemblies. And each of these assemblies, if you expand it, you will see spare parts inside. So let me even open this. 01-B02 functional location. So we can see it here, 01-B02. I want to believe that's correct. B02, yeah. So if I expand this, and then this is the equipment we are seeing there. So if I expand this is the construction type, first of all, and then you will see some equipments don't belong to any assembly. They are just on their own. It's also possible to have this kind of configuration, especially for equipments that don't belong to any assembly per se. But the ones that have assemblies, you see there's an assembly here called electronic. So all electronic devices are here. You see, lantern ring, main adapter, 10 to 24 volts. Then gear, electrical pump, all those kind of materials are here. See, gearbox housing, planetary gear mounting, gear plate, gear mounting. All these are spare parts. So if you bring your mouse to this button here, it will tell you what this red number stands for. These are all spare parts, they are materials. But if you bring it to this one, it will tell you that this is an assembly. This is a PM assembly. Then if you bring your mouse to this orange one, it will tell you it's a construction type. If you bring your mouse to this one, it will tell you it's an equipment. And if you bring your mouse to this one, it will tell you it's a functional location. Then there's also a legend here under settings, color key. Color key will tell you that this color is functional location, green is equipment, orange is construction type, yellow is PM assembly, red is the material, the spare part itself. Okay, so even if you don't know which is which, you are able to know it. So for this structure too, you can see how all these are structured. This is the what? This is the shaft assembly. So an interesting thing also happened here. In the shaft assembly, we have a sub assembly, impeller type 1B electrical pump. This assembly is under the shaft assembly. It's also possible, and it will have its own spare parts inside as well. So depending on how the installation is and how you want to regroup everything and structure everything for easy understanding of users, because you are being trained to be a specialist, to be a consultant, to be someone who will structure this. But users will never do this. They just want to come here and see the spare part that will be useful for them to order and repair and carry out their repair, their maintenance repair. Uh, why does it seem like I'm talking to myself? But I just want to believe that you are all following.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So I didn't give you time to do this with me, but I believe you understand the process and you can take the video and maybe do something similar for the rest of the the equipment we created under Mac plant. So what I mean is, I know we created an equipment for I think what's this, water maker. Water maker also has an equipment number. So currently it is not structured like this. So you can complete this. You can first of all create a construction type for it, give it a name that would, best describe a dummy number that holds the assemblies of a water maker. You understand? Then you now create each of the assemblies. Uh, uh, then you can now create spare parts in each of the assemblies, and you assign it to the, first of all, the construction type, to the construction type field of the equipment. Then you assign the assemblies to the construction type using CS01. Then you assign materials to each of the assemblies using also CS01. So at the end of the day, you will have a similar structure as what we have here. So if all the equipment in the organization are structured this way, then looking for data, looking for spare parts for these equipments will be very, very easy. So this is where we are going to stop for today. Let me even see what we have next here is the exercise, which pretty much we have already explained this. So question one is say assign material bomb. Just take this number. Hello, you just take this number and assign it to the construction type field of the respective equipment. That's what the question is talking about. Let's assign it here. Ensure you put it on change mode, and then you can assign your P. If I assign P-1000 here now, if I go to my structure display, let me refresh. I will find it here with all the details. You can see. So if I can also remove it if I don't need it. I can also remove it just by deleting. So like I was explaining before, if you have two equipments that are similar in terms of assemblies and spare parts, all you just need is to assign the similar construction type to the two equipment. So if, for example, this is crane 1 and this is crane 2, you can also assign this construction type to your crane 2. And they will all have similar structure in terms of spare parts. So I'll refresh, and this will also be the same as what we have up there. So you don't need to go build a new one. As long as the equipments are similar, you just need to assign this dummy number, and all these things built or assigned together will move there. Okay, so it will make your work easy and to be very, very straightforward. So let's see what again, what we have here. What is the material number of the pressure cover for the pump, and how can this be determined from the master record for the equipment? The pressure cover. This is just, you can use the MM03 and try to use a description to find the material number for the pressure cover. So this pressure cover, that's the material number for it. Okay, so they say, and how can this be determined from the master record for the equipment? Basically, if you have, if this is assigned on any equipment and you know the equipment, of course you will see it right there in the in the um, in the structure view here. So this is where that will be assigned. If it is linked to any equipment, that number will be linked directly to the construction type field. So that's exactly what I've explained. Click structure, and then you will find the material number right there. So first of all, you need to go into the equipment master record with either transaction IE02 or IE03, which is what I did here. This is IE03. Okay, then when you go to structure, and you will find it here in the construction type field. Okay, so I will let you do the rest. Play back the video and do the rest. If you have any issues, let me know and we'll try to fix it. But this brings us to the end of master data, technical object master data. So in our next class, we're going to move into maintenance processing. But we'll start with breakdown maintenance. How do you raise a notification? How do you convert a notification to a work order? How do you process the work order to the end? Then we'll now move to corrective maintenance, all the different phases of corrective maintenance. You see, this is corrective maintenance notification phase, corrective maintenance planning phase, control phase, execution phase, completion phase, and so on. So we'll also look at how to process external services. That is jobs that are to be managed by a vendor, not the internal work centers. So by the time we finish this, you understand why we are doing all these things we have done here. Okay, so any question? Any question? Is it clear? Is this something you can play the video and try to do something yourself?
Yeah, Mr. Paul, it's clear.
Okay, great then. So I hope to see this done in the next class, because if you don't do it, we will not be able to move forward. So when we are processing, when we are doing maintenance processing, we have to refer back to these things before we move forward. So you need to do it, if possible, do it for the two equipment, the one I just did and the water maker machine, so that your bill of material will be 100% complete for it. So in summary, the bill of material is made up of the construction type, the assemblies, and the spare part list together. And this is achieved when you assign the construction type in the construction type field of the equipment. So every other thing that is assigned together will reflect on the structure. So thanks and have a good night rest. For those of you who are just starting your day, have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Paul.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Paul. Happy birthday to you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me go and find my my location. Unfortunately, you guys are not around, so I can't help. All right, bye.
Bye.
I'll send you the video later tonight.